If you feel like you're always behind on social media, you're playing the wrong game. The people who are actually growing right now, they're not chasing trends, they are building trust. And that evolves over time into paying clients. Hey, and welcome back to the CEO Photog Club. I'm your host, Kylie. This is where photographers come for more income, more systems, more freedom, and without burning out to get it. You're in the right room, so let's talk business. Today, we're going to be talking about how to stay ahead on social media without constantly chasing the trends and burning out or feeling like you're always behind. The problem with chasing trends is that trends are fast. Like there's this new trend right now that's like the Puerto Rico song. Like I'm not gonna sing it. I was going to, I almost did. I just don't know the words yet. And this trend, like it's taken off and we're only on like day 2 or 3. But by next week it'll probably already be done, right? They're fast, they're saturated, and they're very short-lived. So by the time you see a trend, it's already on its way out, or it's like already so popular that now you're scrolling and it's like every single song and it just doesn't hit the way it did when, the first couple hundred people did it. So when you do this, you become reactive instead of strategic, and you're just constantly like opening up Instagram, reacting, making a trend, posting it, and your content starts to look like everybody else's content. So trendy might go viral, but it doesn't build trust. Familiar is what builds trust. So if you want to stay ahead, this is what that actually means. Ahead doesn't mean the first to a trending sound. It means you're consistent. It means you're recognizable. It means you're trusted. The goal isn't to go viral. The goal is to be remembered. The goal is to be seen. The goal is to be thought of when someone thinks, who should I go to for senior pictures? They're not thinking about that Puerto Rico trend that just happened. They're thinking about, oh my gosh, I just saw someone who posted last week about what to wear for senior pictures. Let me go find the post, right? So what should we do instead of chasing the trends? Because that is fun. And sometimes it's okay to throw a trend in. I'm not bashing on trends. I love trends too. I'm just saying if that's what we're always doing, we're going to feel burnout and we're going to be behind because we're not inventing the trends. We are kind of behind because we're not the first person to do it. If I had to grow today, I would focus on showing every part of what I do behind the scenes. I saw a reel the other day. It was actually probably a trend going around because I saw it a couple of times. It said something like, don't post your work, post you working. And I love that reel because that's just the perfect way to put it. Instead of just posting all the time, here's another example of my senior pictures. Here's another example of my wedding pictures. Here's another example of my product pictures. Pictures. Boring is what your clients are looking at. You're showing behind the scenes of you setting up, the behind the scenes of you shooting, what it looks like for you posing, the behind the scenes of locations you're going to, working with clients, updating your website. All the behind the scenes work that you're doing is what will get people thinking more about you because they're seeing kind of a different aspect of just the pretty pictures. Now, I'm not saying don't post the pretty pictures because yes, of course we need to show our portfolio. But showing you working is actually building more trust so they can see what it looks like to work with you and how that goes. Another thing that's great that's along the same lines is showing sneak peeks. So these are fast turnaround previews. This happens to me all the time where I shoot something and I show a preview that night and I tag them in it online. I'm like, oh my gosh, here's your sneak peek so-and-so. And they are ecstatic and they're sharing it and they're excited about it. And someone else is scrolling on Instagram and they see their friend post the preview of their senior pictures they just got and they got them done. They knew they got them done that night and now there's a sneak peek and they got theirs done 6 weeks ago and they haven't seen a single one. That really helps. So showing these fast turnaround builds this different kind of like, oh my gosh, you've already seen your pictures and they're good. Oh my gosh, I love her. I want to go to her. That's so cool that I already knew you were on your way to family pictures. I can't believe we're already seeing one right now. Like that builds a trust with not just your client, but your client's friends. That really helps. It gets client excited. It shows real-time proof and it builds this really like buzzy energy. And that buzzy energy is excitement that leads to more referrals. Another thing you can do that always works, it's worked for the last 15 years, besides behind the scenes and previews, is educating constantly. Show them that you're the expert and you know what you're doing. What should they wear to their session? What should they expect from it? How to prepare? What are you looking for in locations? What are the best locations? Why your process works? How you do the different things. Educated clients book faster and they complain less because they understand every single part of the process that you're offering them. And it makes it really, really easy for you and for them because there's a trust built before you even take the first picture that they know that you're the expert because they've already seen all the stuff you've done beforehand to show them that you're the expert. When I first started my photography business, I was 18 years old and I looked 18 years old for a long time. I really did look like I was in high school, even though by the time I was 20, I had a baby. And then when I was 22, I had another baby. I got married young, whatever. So I'm shooting weddings of people that are literally older than me. And a lot of their parents would come up to me, like the bride would choose me, they'd love me, whatever. But the parents would come up to me and be like, so how long have you been doing photography? And what's the model of your camera? And do you know what you're doing? That was the underlying message. As I've grown and I started sharing like tips and having a bride guide and they're showing their parents this side of my business, that all disappeared. No one asks me those questions unless they genuinely are just trying to get to know me. They don't really care about that. They know I'm the expert because I show up ahead of time with the education, not just on their day. Also, nurture them like it's their very first time seeing you. This one's huge. Don't assume that your audience already knows you. Repeat yourself all the time. Share your processes all the time. Talk to them like they're brand new. Your clients are quietly watching and they're seeing that consistency and it's building over time. You caring about them, you caring about pictures, you showing the behind the scenes and constantly nurturing them like they're your best friend. And what's crazy about this is it does build this relationship that's almost a little bit one-sided. I wish people would respond, but I'll show up to a session and they'll be like, oh my gosh, how's your dog? How's your daughter Piper doing? How's this going? Was her football game? How's that? How's this? And I don't even share that much online, but everything I do share gets brought up and I just feel so bad. I haven't seen you guys in 5 years. What's going on in your life? Like they're not on Instagram. So it does help. They feel like they know you because they've been following you and seeing this content for years, even if they're not responding to it. And that surprises me sometimes, like, oh, people are actually paying attention. I haven't seen them. I didn't even know they followed me because they never have liked it or they've never had commented. So if you're feeling that way, just know that there are people that are consuming your content and it's gonna show up in weird ways where you're like, okay, that was worth it, even though they didn't say anything online. It built a connection between us that is linked forever, and that's why they know that we're friends, even if I don't know anything about them. They feel that nurturing energy from me that we're connected, and that's great. The next part of your social media is having core content pillars. So for me, it's really simple. We're not going to be like, our favorite food, our favorite drink. Like, I feel like it used to be this like cutesy thing, like where we need to talk about how much we like Diet Coke and we need to talk about our golden doodles and we need to talk about mac and cheese and all this stuff. It's really simple. Okay, so the content pillars can be showing behind the scenes for one content pillar. So behind the scenes, sneak peeks, like everything that goes on over here in your business. The second pillar is teaching. So education, tips, expectations, what their experience is going to look like. The third pillar is going to be selling. So talking about offers, availability you have, booking options, kind of like that call to action kind of post, like, hey, I have 3 spots open. Who wants some? Now I have 2, that kind of stuff. And then the last pillar is going to be reminding. So who you are, what you do, why you're different, kind of more of your personality, that kind of things. And it doesn't have to be super personal. If you go way back on my podcast to, I think, the 4th episode I ever did, I just listened to it again the other day. It still hits. It's about how you don't have to be so personal online that you're showing your stretch marks and you're talking, you're posting pictures in your underwear. That is not when I say be personal. That's not what I mean. You can have a personality without being completely personal. And I know it's hard because you are following people that are so personal and you're like, I would never do that. I don't even want to talk about my kids. I don't want even people to know I have kids. There's a way to be personal and connect with people online without being too personal. So let me share those 4 pillars again. Showing behind the scenes, teaching, selling, and reminding them of who you are. If you rotate these through, you're never going to run out of content and none of them follow trends. Let me tell you a little secret. This has been my content strategy for like 15 years. I'm still using it. Of course, I throw trends in here and there, but what works is this framework because it's consistent and it's hitting all those marketing things that people need to see. They need to know that you're an expert. They need to know that you're a real person. They need to see your work behind the scenes and have that social proof. It's all very, very important. So now, how do we actually stay ahead of all of this? Not by trends, but by consistency. So showing up even when it's not exciting, even when you're busy, even in the slow seasons where you don't have a lot to post about, when you can show up year round, even if that looks like 2 posts a week for you or 1 post a week for you, if you can continue to show up and repeat yourself and have that repetition, sharing those 4 pillars in different ways and going deeper instead of wider in those pillars, you're going to create content that works forever. And you don't need more ideas. You just need to document what you're already doing every single day, which you're probably not doing. You're probably like set up a B-roll right there, like as you're editing your pictures. Use the Meta glasses, buy those, invest in those, and take behind the scenes of your shoots. Pass it off to someone on the side. Hey, will you take a couple behind the scenes pictures or videos, or have an assistant come and take them, or set up your camera before you get somewhere. Like, that's what you need to be doing. If you do use those trends, like I said, I'm not anti-trends, use it as a layer, not your strategy. You're going to burn out if those trends become your strategy, but when they fit your brand, they can be really fun and they can be easy to execute. So if a trend feels like it works, then totally put it into your content. If it doesn't, skip it. It's okay. You don't have to have trends to grow your business. You do not need to go viral ever. I've never gone, well, okay, I've gone viral. I have, but not for the right reasons. I've gone viral for a mishap on spray tanning. I've gone viral for death in the family. I've gone viral for a various amounts of things that do not matter in my photography business. And what I will tell you is that every time I've gone viral, it just brings a lot of trolls and a lot of comments and a lot of weird followers. I went viral for buying glasses in Japan. So I have gone viral for sure, but it's not all it's hyped up to be. I've never gone viral in my photography business, and that's okay because I have 650 projects a year and turning clients away, right? Like, it's okay to not go viral, and you're still going to be able to grow on social media and through other things that we are going to talk about in other episodes. And I've talked about them a million times before. Those long-term marketing things. If your business depends on keeping up with the trends, it's going to be exhausting. But if your business is built on trust, consistency, and showing your process and all the behind the scenes, you're not going to fall behind. Because every time you're working on your business, that can become content, showing people that you're working, showing people how you're working, how much you care about your job, how much you care about people, and all that stuff. So instead of staying up on the trends and chasing them, show your real work, behind the scenes work, educate constantly, nurture like they're brand new to your page, repeat your messages often, and use those trends as just bonuses, not a strategy. You don't need to be the trendiest photographer. You need to be the one people think. You do not need to be the trendiest photographer. You just need to be the one that people think of when they're ready to book. Now, I have this marketing course that, again, I created probably over a decade ago, and it talks about all my marketing strategies. These are strategies that I used 15 years ago to now. It's all bundled up together into a very massive package. It talks about Pinterest and emails and blogging, all these different things, and it's only $22. So I'm going to leave the link below. If you want to deep dive marketing and you want to have a plan that works forever, that does not involve knowing what hooks to use and what's going on algorithm changes and all that, just start there. This episode just is to give you permission to stop chasing trends all the time. And if you know of a photographer that's feeling so overwhelmed on social media, send it to them, let them know. You can stop doing that right now. And you can just start sharing BTS and nurturing your clients and educating them, and you will grow. This meeting is now adjourned, so go build like a CEO.